It is official. Bitcoin 2x or SegWit 2x has been called off. We are not going to get a hard fork somewhere between November 14th to November 16th. This is remarkable. This is obviously a huge news event. This is going to change the thesis for moving forward as to whether or not I like altcoins or Bitcoin or how I feel about Bitcoin moving forward. This changes everything. I'm in a rush to get this video out because I want to get my thoughts out early here because Bitcoin can do quite a bit over the next couple of hours or so, especially if we go even longer term and think about Bitcoin over the next week or so. It's going to be a very interesting week in terms of trading action. Now, right now, in the short term, Bitcoin is spiking. Bitcoin has gone up quite a bit since this announcement, and a lot of you might be wondering, why is Bitcoin going up so much as a result of this announcement? And what I want everybody to remember, first of all, when I talked about why Bitcoin's price continues to rise, recall that I said that it is an incremental pricing mechanism. In other words, there is price memory, and as a result of that, we sort of, now $7,000 is sort of like a normal for Bitcoin, although it really shouldn't be. But more importantly, what this news did was it reduced an uncertainty associated with Bitcoin, right? We were all uncertain about how this hard fork would actually turn out. We didn't know what it was going to be like without replay protection. We didn't know what it was going to be like to have all the miners switch between the networks. We didn't know how the mining oscillations would work, similar to what it was like with Bitcoin Cash. Obviously, there wouldn't be an emergency difficulty adjustment, but there would still be some switching back and forth as difficulty adjusted. So obviously this means a lot of uncertainty just got removed from Bitcoin. And when uncertainty gets removed from a particular asset, the first result that's going to happen is the price is going to spike. And we actually saw that with the stock market, right? When we saw Donald Trump win the election back in November of last year, the stock market futures originally were down quite a bit. But the following morning, the stock market actually decided to go up. And the reason the stock market went up is because there was a ton of uncertainty behind the election. And once that uncertainty got priced out and everybody could think about, okay, Trump is pro-tax cuts, he's not going to reduce drug prices, or at least he's not as stern about it as Hillary was, and so on and so forth, we saw a bunch of things basically move into place and uncertainty got taken out of the market and the stock market went up. Well, this is no different with Bitcoin here. We just got what is the equivalent of a presidential election being decided. And it was of Trump versus Hillary type style. In other words, it was that type of, you think about other previous elections. There was no election quite as high profile as Trump versus Clinton. And obviously, this with the 2x hard fork is the most major hard fork that we've had for Bitcoin. And the fact that it's not going to happen has removed uncertainty from Bitcoin. Now, as to whether or not this is going to hold, you can see right now at this very second, it's sort of going back and forth. I mean, this is the most volatile we've seen Bitcoin in quite some time. I don't know if we should see this rally extend. It's going to be difficult to say. I prefer Bitcoin now than I preferred it yesterday. In other words, I'd be willing to pay $7,700 for a Bitcoin now, more than I would have been willing to pay $7,200 for a Bitcoin yesterday that included the possibility of the Bitcoin 2x hard fork. So I think it should be worth more. The question is this where the fair value is? And I have not had enough time yet to really solidify what my opinion is on that. However, I will say if you were a holder of Bitcoin before, then you probably should be even more a holder of Bitcoin now because a huge weight just got removed from its shoulders. I'm not talking even about the politics here. It just, this particular hard fork was going to cause a schism, not only in the network in the sense of replay protection and attacks, but also the fact that we were going to see miners sort of separate from the developers, and we were going to see maybe exchanges start taking sides, and it was going to be a hot mess, right? And now we don't have that to deal with anymore, and as a result of that, we are now seeing a market that is, well, right now very volatile, but it should be happy about the fact that this uncertainty related to 2x has just gotten taken out of the equation. So this is a huge monumental event, and a lot of price action is going to happen over the next week or so. This is going to be very interesting because we have not heard the last about Bitcoin 2x at this point. It is suspended indefinitely at this point. However, you just don't know what you're going to hear next about it. And as a result of that, they might have a new proposal that they'll want to take instead of 2x. Maybe they want to spend more time on it and implement replay protection and re-announcement. We just don't know exactly what's going to happen next at this particular moment in time because this just happened. Now, in terms of the market reaction for other cryptocurrencies, I probably shouldn't do this in US dollar terms because it looks fairly nice right now, but if I switch over to Bitcoin terms, obviously the whole equation changes across the board. Now, in dollar terms, of course, all the cryptocurrencies are doing better because Bitcoin has sort of, now that we have this uncertainty out of the market, now the entire market sort of gets to feel a little happier, right? We're going to probably see this cryptocurrency market cap as a whole increase because, again, an uncertainty just got taken out of the market. In terms of where I'm investing right now, again, I haven't had a whole lot of time to reevaluate where I'm going to invest in particular. I actually didn't even notice how much Waves had gone up, but I am still invested in Waves. You guys know the main holdings that I have already. Again, I still like altcoins that are depressed at the moment because this could be the beginning of a new bull stretch after. Okay, I still think that Bitcoin probably should have a little bit of a dip first. Meaning a dip at this point would be what? I said 15%. So 15% off of this would be $770 and then 5%, roughly $1,000. A little over $1,000. So if we saw it go down to like $6,500, that would probably be healthy for the market. If it keeps going up like this, it's tough to say what to do moving forward because, this is just insane at this point, right? There has to be a point at which this growth stops going so parabolic. But I just wanted to point out that this can extend the rally quite a bit because a lot of people didn't like this hard fork, especially the users of the network. Obviously, the core developers didn't like it. And even the people that supported Bitcoin 2x, I have a feeling that many of them also felt that Bitcoin 2x in particular was going to, they probably preferred it to have replay protection and a little bit more time to be spent on it. So even if they like Bitcoin 2x, they probably felt that the implementation of it, at least some people, could have been a little bit better, right? It could have been a little less contentious, a little bit less like a war, I guess, between the two different cryptocurrencies. Obviously, it's kind of like a revolution in the sense, but I'm not going to get too much into the politics. I was actually working on creating a video about why I didn't think that Bitcoin 2x was going to replace Bitcoin. I think I'm still going to make that video because it's going to be relevant for hard forks in the future and just sort of as a hypothetical what-if scenario and how I feel that different players have influence on Bitcoin because you have the exchanges, you have investors, you have miners, you have the core developers, and you have a number of different parties that are all part of what we call the Bitcoin network. And they all have a say in terms of what the future of Bitcoin is. And it's always interesting to me to think about who are going to be the leaders and who are going to be the laggards in terms of who influences Bitcoin moving forward, because that's obviously very important. So I want to give my thoughts on who I think the most important players are in the Bitcoin network. Obviously, the miners are the main people that are behind the Bitcoin 2x hard fork, although there were some businesses as well, actually quite a few businesses that were behind the 2x hard fork. And I wanted to talk about why, despite all the support it has, I did not feel that they had the main and most key element, and it's not what you think, in terms of being able to replace Bitcoin. So I'm probably going to make a separate video on that. Stay tuned for that. I hope you guys subscribe for it. And in general here, with the market moving forward, I would say that Bitcoin is now a much better investment than it was last night. I think that this weight just got removed from their shoulder with 2x. And I just think in general here, I'm happy about the future of the cryptocurrency market now. I did not like the idea of having this huge contentious fork. And maybe this fork will get pushed into the future. In other words, maybe it's not gone forever. However, hopefully if it does get implemented in the future, or if there is a separate hard fork that we see that tries to do a similar thing where they increase the block size, hopefully we see a situation in which replay protection occurs and it's a little bit less like a political war and a little bit more like an intelligent debate about how to further scale the Bitcoin network, because this has been like child's play over the past few weeks. I mean, this really was Hillary versus Trump, you know? So anyway, in terms of investing moving forward, I continue to hold in altcoins, which of course continues to not do too well against Bitcoin. I might start moving into Bitcoin now that this uncertainty has been removed from the cryptocurrency. I would like to see a little bit of a dip first, maybe down to roughly $6,500 to $7,000 or so, preferably $6,500. And right now, that's my immediate thoughts on the hard fork. Of course, as I have more time to think about this, some things might change, but I wanted to give you all my thoughts right now in the short term here, right after it happened. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As usual, leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.